Arab League is a simulation program where students come in and represent various countries of the League of Arab States, and they actually debate issues that are confronting the Arab world today, sometimes social, environmental, economic, security. They run the whole range.
Every high school that is attending the Model Arab League is assigned a country, and they research it and they want to really play the part of the citizens of that country. We stop being American when we come here because we are truly trying to take on the persona of the nations, and everyone else has done that as well. And then each committee, whether you're broken into different committees, you have a social affairs committee, you have political affairs, you have Palestinian affairs.
Without question, participation in Model Arab League will contribute to your future success in whatever endeavor you pursue after high school. In my college teaching experience, I have found that without exception, my strongest students are those who participate in Model UN, Model Arab League, or Model African Union. Why is this? Because they have learned how to think critically, to do substantive, in-depth research, to develop and support arguments that must stand up to public scrutiny, and to engage with and consider multiple points of view. Participating actively in Model Arab League gives you an advantage as you head off to college or the workforce, because you have begun already to develop the skills of being an active learner and an engaged world citizen. You've begun the process of stepping into other people's shoes and trying to see the world as they see it. You've practiced the valuable skill of resolving conflicts and seeking solutions to collective problems through negotiation and compromise rather than coercion and force.
I've enjoyed it. This is my first time ever doing anything regarding like Model UN or Model Arab League, so I learned a lot today and yesterday.
I like the parts where it would get kind of like intense and people would like argue, and it was really fun.
So you like the yelling and the arguing?
Yeah, I do.
I got started in Model Arab League after I had done Model United Nations at my school. My advisor recommended it to me. He said it'd be really great, and it ended up being an excellent compliment, and it actually turned out to be the organization that I preferred because there is such a nuance and there's such substance.
To prepare the students, we first of all have tried to sign up for a greater number of conferences throughout each school year. We've had a considerable amount of training at these conferences. We've found that preparation starts with solid research and understanding the assigned country's foreign policy and being able to articulate a solid foreign policy statement. And then working with each other on the different topics, generating ideas together as a group for possible resolutions, as well as just getting familiar with the verbiage and the vocabulary of parliamentary procedure.
It's more than just doing research and missing a day of school and talking in front of a bunch of students. What you learn from this program is how to use critical thinking and how to come up with substance on the spot on the topic that you're working on, and to be able to come up with creative and innovative ideas within the constraints that are given to you.
I think the biggest thing was probably learning how to do coalition building and compromising with other people. We started out a lot of times, on polar opposite sides of the spectrum as far as opinions, and by the end of the conference, we were all able to merge together and create solutions, even with the differing stances of our country. So I was really amazed by that.
It was just overall really interesting because, a lot of people don't know a lot about Arab nations, and you get to learn different nations' stances on different issues, and just to really know your own country and how they would feel about certain things was very informative.
I think for me it was a lot about diplomacy and learning how to be diplomatic with people that you don't agree with at all or that you kind of agree with, and finding a common ground to work with. There were a couple of times where there would be two papers on the floor that were really, really similar except for one thing that one country just wouldn't stand for. And when you still find a way after that to to merge the papers and find something to say that everybody agrees on. That's pretty impressive.
Things can get fierce in there. So it's one of those things, I mean, you want to cool everyone off. You want to be able to be the mediator, the one who can get everyone to come together and actually make something work.
I hope students really bring away, if nothing else, just the general sense of confidence that they can do this. That almost everyone, about 80% of people are afraid of public speaking. And if they can nail just that, so they're not afraid of speaking in front of people, that alone is good enough. But then you have general debating and persuasive skills. You have the skill where you can just step out of your own perspective and just look at something from another point of view. You may not agree with that point of view. It might not even change your opinions or feelings on a matter, but just being able to re-examine something, which is a big part of Model Arab League, I think even more than UN.
I remember when I started, quite often I would simply stand up, say, I yield my time to the chair and sit back down. But now I can't raise my placard enough, get my name on the speakers list enough. I need to be able to get my viewpoint out there, and I need to be a part of the discussion.
The experience you get, the depth of the topic that you get into, the knowledge you gain, the culture, you get to learn so much about these people, and you can get passionate about something you hadn't really thought of before.
Well, I had social affairs, and we always tried to be very practical, but the obstacle we kept running into was funding. So I feel if the funds were there, then you actually do feel that a lot of things we talked about and set up would actually work.
The diplomatic skills you develop in Model Arab League, a privileging of discourse and communication over violence and coercion, the ability to prioritize objectives, the ability to negotiate and compromise, the ability to build alliances is a much better way.
I've really learned a lot about rhetoric and, trying to make a speech that will convince others, and that is trying to be dynamic and open about your platform, your opinion, and eagerly trying to hear other sides of the debate.
Well, skills that I've definitely learned are how to illustrate a point clearly to people. It's one thing to have an idea in your head and be like, oh, this is exactly what I want to do. But then explaining that to people and being able to take people's, when they don't get it, instead of just going, why don't you want it? It's so clear. I said, it's right here. No, you have to be able to step back, understand where they're coming from, take their point of view, and just, communicate in a new way that allows them to understand. And I think that's an incredibly important skill no matter where you go, whether you're in an office or writing or anything. You need to be able to communicate with different people who work on a different way than you.
Model Arab League was really fun. It kind of put me, my ideas in a different perspective other than just the United States. You're focusing on different countries and, what their needs are.
I really want to continue in international relations, and this has also furthered my interest in it.
The most important part for me was today, actually, when we were voting for our last resolution. Everyone was just really heated and wanted to get their point across. So when people kept calling for roll call, some people got annoyed, but it was fun, and I learned what roll call meant today. So
I gained so much from being a part of the Model Arab League, not just developing as a delegate with all the skills that we talked about with critical thinking, public speaking, negotiating, and just being able to read people, but I've been able to take it and apply it in when I go to jobs, when I interview for jobs, working with my school in a leadership position. I can tend to be the more dominant leader because I know and I have the skill set to be able to do it. And also, with Model Arab League, I was able to travel to Saudi Arabia and have my world open up because I had misconceptions and misunderstandings that I had internalized and I didn't even know that I had. And not to mention the ability to network at these national conferences, meeting people and doing exactly what the National Council's mission statement is, which is to foster better understanding. And it really has done that for me.
I got an internship from the Model Arab League, and it was able to impact my career decisions and my majors. I want to now major in international affairs and Arabic.
I believe that, well, the value of studying the Middle East is the fact that the U.S. isn't going to end relations with them, and I think it's a place that is really and truly misunderstood, and that to study it and to participate and have to represent something that maybe you don't understand or could possibly dislike will really open your eyes and can give you a better perspective when you put yourself in someone else's shoes.
I want to get a more well-rounded view of the world, and I believe that the Middle East is growing in importance every day with not just the natural resources that are there, but just politically the types of things that are going on there are just important for everyone to know. And there are so many misconceptions. You got to know to be a part of this world nowadays. You have to know what's going on. You have to understand why people are the way they are, how cultural differences really affect how people see the world. Because until you understand that, you really can't be, a fully developed citizen of the world.
There are many stereotypes of Arabs and the Arab world, and many know only the negative images of suicide bombers or think of vast deserts or oil wells. It is important for Americans to know alternative images from the Arab world, just as it is important for people in the Arab world to know that there are American citizens who are informed about and interested in engaging diplomatically and culturally with them.
There is no other opportunity for any student to learn public speaking skills, to learn procedure, to learn how to work a room, to learn how to negotiate. These things, they're not going to learn in class. Even if you have some sort of debate class or something like that, it's not the same. So this is an educational opportunity that's just really unparalleled.
Awesome.
Educational.
Different and exciting. Interesting.
Competitive.
Educational.
Influential.